Hey everybody, Denise here. Thanks for being with me. Thanks for being here for my first video on my channel. We're going to do a quick dip removal video. I will be using my machine that I have. This is a nifty little machine that I got at Walmart. I think it was $25 or so. It's advertised as a steamer. It's not a steamer. Real quick, going to open it. As you can see, there's liquid inside. It comes with two little reservoirs. The reservoirs sit directly in the machine like that. You fill the reservoir up with acetone. I use 100% pure, the Onyx Professional. Just get it at Walmart. Fill that reservoir up. Put the lid on. As you can see down here, we got 3 lights. Over on the other side, we got just a little switch. So, just switch on the power on the machine. Now what it does, see the red light comes on, it's heating up. So what this does is it heats the acetone, making it work more efficiently. It works along the same lines as the hot water or rice method, and I'll go over that too while my nails are soaking. In the meantime, real quick, I already filed the top coat off of all of my nails. I don't use a specific grit, but I just, filed them down pretty good. Got that top layer really good off of there. I think this is a 180 grit. Chewed up by my dogs. Super awesome. But got that shine off of there. First layer really good. And what I'm going to do is literally stick my fingers in this machine. My fingers are going to go, and I'll do this without his real quick, directly into the acetone. As you can see, my fingers are literally fully submerged. And what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I will do this without the lid this time. I usually use the lid though. You could do it either way. Totally just personal preference. This is what works easiest for me. Now as you can see, the light did turn green, so I'm just going to stick my fingers in there and let them sit. Actually, I'm OCD and I am going to put the lid on. The first time I did use this machine, I did try to use it as a steamer. Failed miserably. Didn't work at all. It barely even softened up the dip. So in the meantime, I'm actually going to go ahead and slide my hand over. Just going to let that sit. I do want to go ahead and go over the hot rice and hot water method too though. So it works along the same lines as this machine. You're heating up the acetone, making it work more efficiently, helping it dissolve that dip or your gel polish off of your nail. What I use is a microwave safe cup or bowl. Total preference, just up to you. I like the size of these little cups. I like how it has a handle. If you use rice, you want to make sure that you are using actual rice. You don't want to be using any minute rice or anything like that. You'll totally burn it in the microwave, because what you're going to do is you're going to fill this cup about halfway up. Don't fill it too full, because if you fill it too full, when you put your nails in there, you're going to just make a mess and you're going to have rice or water everywhere. So I say fill it about half full with your rice or with water, whatever is convenient or whatever you want to use. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to put the cup with your water or rice in the microwave. You are going to microwave it. I do increments of about a minute, 30 seconds, whatever I feel like. Just check it, see how warm it is. You want to essentially get the rice and the water as hot as you can physically take it, but not so hot that it melts your baggie. Because the next thing you're going to want to do is you will take this lovely little baggie, you will literally put acetone directly in the baggie, like I put the acetone directly in the machine. And some people also add a little bit of coconut oil to help with the drying of the acetone. I don't, just me, total personal preference again. Other people will also put a cotton ball or a paper towel or something in there to help agitate the nails. Also, I think I was using cotton balls when I was doing this method. It just helps you to scrape your nails so you can fully get everything off, because as you see, my first round on this hand, I didn't really get my thumb very well, but everything else came off pretty good. Anyways, back to this method. So you have this heated with water or rice, and the water or rice is heated. You got your acetone in your baggie with whatever else you might want in here, whether it be coconut oil, paper towel, or whatever. And you would just literally put your fingers directly in the baggie like I did on the machine, and just stick your fingers directly in that water or that rice. And what you're doing is you're just letting it sit and heat like you're doing with the machine. And you're just letting that acetone work. And what you'll do with this method, if this is what you have on hand and you can't find a machine or anything like that, or even if it's just your preference to do it this way, is you will have to keep reheating the water and the rice as you go along. Now, a cool little tip that I picked up along the way, if you happen to have a candle warmer lying around anywhere, you can actually take your bowl or your cup, sit it directly on that candle warmer, and it'll actually help keep your medium warm, just like this machine does, because essentially that's all this machine is doing also, is it's just keeping it warm. So, cool little tip, if you happen to have one, you can just set that cup or that bowl on there and it'll help keep it warm, so you don't have to continuously keep putting your cup or your bowl back into the microwave. Now, of course, you really want to be careful, because you can and you will absolutely melt that baggie if that rice is too hot. I have not used water before, but I've absolutely almost melted my baggie using the rice method. I changed from this method over to the machine because I think the machine essentially works exactly the same way and it does the same exact thing, but for me it works more efficiently and it's cleaner, I think, because for some reason I was always ending up with a sticky mess on my fingers when I was doing the baggie method. I also heard, though, that if you are doing the baggie method and you put coconut oil in there also, it exponentially helps with that stickiness that I was incurring. I found this machine before I even tried anything else, so what can I say? Alright, so as you can see, the machine now turned yellow. That means that we're going to be in a cool down process. Now, when your hands are in here, I literally put my fingers against the bottom and I can feel how warm my fingers are getting, because I want them to be warm, because essentially the warmer the acetone is on your fingers, the more efficiently it's going to get that dip off of there. And depending on the type of dip and how many layers depends on how many times I have to put my fingers in here and how long it takes me. So I will actually wait until it gets a little cool, because you can feel your fingers starting to cool down. You can feel that liquid starting to cool off. So what I'll do, in case I do need to put my fingers back in, is I will turn it off, bring my fingers out, and wipe them off individually. As you can see, the foils almost came off completely, but it looks like those glitters we're going to need a little more time. Now what you can also do, to help expedite the process also is take a cuticle pusher and you can lightly scrape off the dip also. But since I'm going to have to put my fingers back in anyways, because this glitter will be too thick, I won't be able to actually do that with them. I'm going to have to put them back in there for another round. I'll just go ahead and leave the foils on, because by the time I'm done with my next round, those foils will be completely dissolved off. So let's go ahead and put them back in. And bear with me as the time goes on and I get used to doing these videos. I will make sure I figure out how to edit them so we are not just sitting for any prolonged periods of time, you know, in limbo. And so all I did was turn off the machine and I turned it right back on. It just resets it and starts its process over. I usually take my time when I do my manis. I don't rush myself in any way, shape, or form. I used to go in to have my nails done. My friend used to do them for me. And my father had a stroke about 1.5 years ago. He actually ended up having 4 strokes in 3 months. And since then, I've had to be his full-time caregiver, so I can't go see my friend like I used to. So that is how and why I started doing my own nails at home. I wish I could still go see her as much as I do, but in the meantime, it sure is nice being able to still keep up on my nails and still get in my little bit of self-care, as I like to call it. Another couple methods of removal that I did try, just FYI, if you're wondering if I have tried anything else, I have used, of course, just your cotton ball acetone with aluminum foil, and I also have those plastic nail clips too, and it just took me forever to even get regular dip with no glitter or anything off. And that's because the acetone takes so much longer to break that down when it's not heated. A good trick, if you don't, or if you're not able to use the baggy method either, I've read, is to put a heat pad over your nails if all you have to use is cotton balls and aluminum foil or the little clips. So just FYI, another tip, if you happen to have a heat pad and all you have are the cotton balls and such, try putting a heat pad over your hand, and that might also help expedite the process. If you guys have tried any other methods that I haven't messaged or mentioned, let me know. Sure doesn't hurt to have more options, right? For some reason, I always have the hardest time with my thumbs when I am removing my dip for some reason. And look at the Colorado weather, it's destroying my hands. My hands are always so dry because of having to wash them continuously because of caring for my father. And especially during the winter, it takes a toll on them. Excuse me, words are hard apparently right now. So usually when you hear that first beep after the light has turned green, it means you're about at the halfway point. I know there are other different machines out there that work along the same lines. I believe a lot of them are exponentially more expensive. And I've also read that the ones that have the more dome lids and the push button on and off in the front, I've read that those can actually get too hot and they can melt. So if you do see any other machines out there, double check and see if anyone anywhere else has used them, what they think about it, how they utilized it. Like I say, the first time I tried to use this machine, I failed miserably because I just tried to use it as a steamer, meaning I just filled the reservoir with acetone, and I did not put my nails in it. I just had my nails hovering over it, and it really didn't do anything at all. The next time I used it, I went ahead and I put my fingers directly in it because my thought was, I'm putting my fingers directly in acetone when I use the baggy method, so what's the difference with this? And it made a world of difference. The other thing that has also made a huge difference is leaving your fingers in there. Now, the first time you go around, you can actually pull them out after a little bit, wipe them down, and then put them right back in. But for the most part, I try not to pull them out. And the reason I say you can do that the first time around is that's helping get that first layer off of there. And I actually should have done that this time around because I probably wouldn't have to do it a second time if I would have done that. Now, the reason I don't like to pull my nails out is it's kind of like baking. If you keep opening the oven, nothing is actually going to bake. So if you keep pulling your fingers out, you're not getting that acetone, that time it needs in that heat and the acetone to actually do its job properly. So I noticed when I was pulling my fingers out, 2-3 times, I wasn't having the progress as quickly as I should have been. So now I just leave them in there. Move them around a little bit. Now some people even put cotton balls, acetone, or little pieces of paper towel in these machines also and move them around, it's not my thing. It's not what I do. Alright. My handy paper towel. And for the most part, all I like to use is the paper towel, if I can get away with it. I don't per se like to use the cuticle pusher. And if you were using the baggy method, you would essentially be doing the same thing, When you pull your hand out, you'd be wanting to take something and wipe down your nail, Essentially do the same thing. Alright. We got all the foil off and the glitter remains, although it is not bad by any means. So in this case, I will just lightly scrape that off. Oh, totally out of shot and crazy. Sorry about that, you guys. Okay. Does not take a lot to get it off. And this white you see is actually a nail aid top coat that I put on my nail before I actually dip. So it's not my nail peeling off crazy by any means. It's that top layer. Alright guys. It does look like I'm going to need to get those thumbs a little bit longer. So I am going to go ahead and do that. It shouldn't take me very much longer, but I also don't want to keep you guys any longer either. So that is my quick dip removal. I'll just have to hit both my thumbs. As you can see, they're the only ones that are giving me problems, and it's just because it's that chunky glitter. But if it would have just been the foils, I would have had both of these off in 15 minutes. So, anyways, thank you again for being here with me, and I hope to see you next time around. See ya.